So I'm Tim Holman. I'm CEO at 2sec. I've been doing security and fixing things, breaking things for, not cobwebs things, for about 20 years now. So my day job is security consultant. I do penetration testing, so people pay us to see if we can get into systems, break them, and tell them how to fix things and get things wrong. And other claim to fame, I was Microsoft MVP for security for 3 years, if anyone at Microsoft remembers what that was. So, unfortunately, I'm going to start off with a wall of shame. I know the talk was all about liberating technology, and Mark did say don't get too many people into trouble, so I did take Microsoft off that list. So, I think, looking back over just the last sort of 3 or 4 years, there's been a lot of security breaches, and I know there's a guy before me said, security is just perception, it's not really a problem, but you can clearly see from the press, the media, and the work that I do, that it is a problem. There's huge amounts of data that's going missing. No photos, come on, this is... That's all right, I'll get the brand, I want this bit there, yeah. So I think everybody, all big names, someone's had a pop. You've got eBay, Facebook, the whole lot. Sony, I've only put the breach in 2011 there, but obviously you've had breaches since then as well. But there's a lot of stuff going missing. I'm sure everybody agrees, and I'm sure everybody in this room, a question I usually ask is how many people have had their identity stolen? You could, a quick show of hands, or a very, very shy audience. And then how many people know somebody who's had their identity stolen? And then it's a bit bigger. So you almost know the guy at the front then. So I like to think, well, all this data's going. It's huge data, millions and millions of records. So where is it all going? What's the motive for people taking this data and hacking us in the first place? So what you can do, I did this at the end of last year. I just thought, well, I'll just Google credit cards for sale. So, normally you'd expect the Amex or HSBC to be on the list somewhere. But the first hit is a hacking site with it's got a line going straight through it. But it's a hacking site that sells credit card information. It's black market stuff, and then underneath it are all the good ones, or the HSBCs where you can actually get legitimate cards. So you go on these websites, these are what we call carding forums. There's another line going through there as well. But you go on these sites and you can see the information, you can select what you want to buy, and you can buy it. You can also go as far as buying your own hacked pin entry device that you can take along and maybe swap over with a pin entry device in somebody's shop and copy all their credit card information. So if you go on these sites, these are just about the current market rates for our data. So if you were foolish enough and you wanted to buy some credit cards, then they're going for about $3 a pop at the moment. If you want a little bit more information, like the date of birth, address, the price goes up a little bit. There's a whole market on these things, and they let you pay by Bitcoin as well, which will please this gentleman at the front. And they come with guarantees, so it's a 95% guarantee. I'm not sure what that meant, but if the cards don't work, they'll just give you another one. They've got loads of them anyway, so what's the issue? So it's definitely a big problem, and it's big business. And I think if you break it down, you think, well, the internet's a pretty big place. I don't know how many users there are on the internet. Paul, you might have a better guess than I. I guessed at 2 billion. Is that about right?
I think it's 3 billion now. It's over 3 billion.
I'm roughly 50% out. Okay. The world's grown. 3 billion. So easy pickings. 3 billion of us are online, and any of us, it's a game of numbers. People know if they get a hack attack out and they take a sample of 10,000 machines, a few of them are going to be vulnerable and they're going to have information that they can pull out. And, a stat from 2013, much as I hate statistics, but this one's a good one. They reckon cybercrime cost £266 billion, and it's overtaken the value of the global narcotics trade. If cybercrime was a country, it'd be somewhere between... Actually, it's above. I don't know what that's between, actually. It's above Singapore, Austria and Denmark as the size of a country. It's huge. And even one British company in the press, they claim they had a cyber attack that cost them £770 million. And that was basically through loss of intellectual property. It probably ended up in China. And I always say, why me? Why us? Why are we getting hacked? And the long and the short of it is we're all high net worth individuals, even if we've got jobs in McDonald's or something. I mean, to a hacker in a third world country, we're all loaded. We're a great country of how many of us? 65 million people. We're a great target. That's why they're going for us. We'll always be targeted. So one problem. You can tell me what car that is. It's written on the front. There we go. That is a Landwing. You can buy those in China for $14,000. It's an X7, but it mysteriously looks like a well-known car in the UK. I'm surprised nobody knows what that is, but there we go. Land Rover. I'll let you off with that. So IP theft it's a big problem. I mean, companies are losing money for China. I mean, if you look at the Chinese model of economic growth, you know, their economy is kind of to sort of steal ideas and sell them on, rip us all off for all the good work we've done, and sell on at a profit. And this is a picture of wind turbines. I mean, there was a case. There was a company up in Warrington who manufactured wind turbine blades, and they experienced a hack, and they reckon some Chinese hackers maybe got into their company and stole their blueprints, because exactly the same wind turbine model came up for sale in China sort of a few months later. Things we had to watch out for. Even military systems, I mean, they get hacked. I mean, I think it's the second Gulf War. This came up. That's a Predator drone that was flying over and dropping bombs on insurgents and stuff. And what got hacked there was just there's a video feed on these drones. So the insurgents managed to hack into it because it was unencrypted and nobody bothered to protect it, and they could see exactly where the Predator drones were going. So a bit of a design faux pas, perhaps. I mean, they couldn't hack into the systems of far-off weapons or anything like that, but you know, they weren't far off. You know, somebody had put these machines into production, they'd not secured them, and you know, the video feeds were, I think they're over GPRS or something like that, mobile phone technology. I won't ask you to tell me what that is. It's a tap. I like that. But industrial control systems are getting hacked. I mean, we hear cases about industrial equipment being hacked into and just switched off for a laugh. I mean, water pumps being hacked into, and maybe hackers having a little play around and thought, oh, what happens if we do this? And get it to push out more water than it should and blow the whole thing up, sort of thing. And there's also a case, I think the British steel industry was hit, where somebody hacked into one of the furnaces and turned it off. You know, if you've got a big furnace full of molten iron, you turn it off, it cools down. It's a bit of a problem to fix again. Medical systems, as the guy from Symantec alluded to earlier. I mean, it's an insulin pump. So great idea. It's a wireless internet pump. Sorry, insulin. It's a wireless insulin pump that was used in hospitals to help diabetics. It's a great idea from the offset, saving loads of money, but they forgot to secure the wireless, so you could just hack into the wireless. I think it was using WEP, which is just an insecure version of wireless. They hacked in and managed to be able to put the dose up or put the dose down. So pretty dangerous stuff. So security there, perhaps an afterthought. I know this is an old picture. I don't like to have a dig at politicians, which is good because he's not a politician anymore. But human error. I mean, in Tony Blair's case, I mean, this is one of my favourites. I think the entire plans for his security systems at his house got published online. And you think, well, that's a big, terrible security breach and something's gone wrong there. But the reason for that was that the local council had put out to tender a request for more security systems for this guy's house. And part of that tender was to publish exactly what he already had on his house. So that was promptly withdrawn. So it's a bit of, it's common sense. I mean, a lot of this is just common sense. And even in the last week, we look at Lenovo, and I'm sure you've seen that in the news, the Metro this morning. Somebody hacked their DNS records. I mean, we all know what DNS is, I hope. I don't know, nobody put their hand up, Paul, and your employees. Yeah, all right, back to school. All right. So domain name system, so it's a system that, you know, if you put in www.lenovo.com, DNS will translate to an IP address and send that to a web server. But in this case, someone had got into that system and just sent everybody to a hacker's Lenovo server instead and started sort of trawling their details. And we all know DNS, it's a pain to put right if it goes wrong. It takes 24, 48 hours to revert anything and repopulate the DNS names across the internet again. And I don't know, in here is, we're talking about DNS, but I think, it's something if somebody's ignored along the way, but, if you've got a big brand like Lenovo.com, you might have a really, really well-secured website that nobody can get into, but if the basic stuff like DNS isn't fixed or put right, then all that good work just goes to waste and you end up in the press, and maybe that's just a revenge on the Chinese, I don't know. I only found out they were a Chinese company this week as well. I thought they were American or something. But. So I know this presentation is very much about liberating technology, so I don't want to scare you all. I like to think, you guys are out here, you're making the engines. We're here, we make the brakes. Pay us a bit more, maybe an ABS system, and if things go wrong, we make the airbags. It's a terrible analogy, isn't it? A prize for the corniest line. But it's exactly that, and I think with the right brakes, the right ABS, your cars can go faster. And with an airbag, things go wrong. I should stop that analogy. Really, it's got to go. So there's no such thing as a vulnerability-free world, and I hope I'm just sort of demonstrating there are issues. A lot of it is just common sense. So do take a step back. I mean, when you're looking at the next big thing, you've got to think very carefully about what risks that might bring to your company. That's me done, I think. Thank you.